confession time. So for those of you who are longtime fans of the channel, you'll notice how I talk about Magic the Gathering here and there every once in a while, and that's because there's actually a lot of things about Magic the Gathering I think they do very well, and a lot of things that Yu-Gi-Oh could possibly learn from. Now, fun fact, for those of you who don't know, I actually used to play Magic the Gathering for a very, very short time back when original Ravnica came out years and years ago. So this is going to be interesting because this weekend is the pre-release for Guilds of Ravnica, so it's kind of like a throwback, and you know, if you're interested in something, I feel like you should pursue it. And I love watching competitive Magic, I love watching the Pro Tour and the Grand Prix on Twitch, so I figured, you know what, let's get out of our comfort zone and have a little fun this weekend. So I'm like 4-0 right now. I don't know how that happened, but frankly, this is like crazy. I'm having a blast. So I guess let's see if we can go ahead and make it 5-0. I'm gonna go get some food real quick, but man, 4-0. Whew. We did it. We did it. So we didn't take first place, but we did get second. We lost our last round, and it was a bit unfortunate. My camera actually ran out of battery, so I'm gonna do my best to recap and kind of fill in the holes for what I wasn't able to record. But yeah, so let's just go ahead and quickly go through the matchups. I think the first match was against a Golgari, and I think we 2-0'd that. That was actually a pretty straightforward match. Luckily, my opponent also has not played probably in about as long as I have, so we were on a pretty level playing field, at least in terms of that, but I think I just had a better understanding of like what some of the cards did, and that allowed me just to succeed in that matchup. The second round was another Golgari, which I won 2-1. I don't really remember too much from this. I remember I understood better about a couple of different things that I wasn't too familiar with Magic, so that was good. Definitely a learning experience. It was a very close game, I remember that, but it was ultimately something that came out in our favor. Round 3 was against Izzet, and that was 2-1, and oh man, was this close. This literally came down to a race at the end in game 3, and I remember, I wish I had this on camera, because I remember I made this really big attack with like one of the flyers and just like 2 other guys, and like 2 guys triggered Mentor, and it was just like really huge, and it was basically this really strong attack that he wasn't able to block. I think there was also the creature that if he did block it, he would take damage as a result of that, because that creature took damage, and that was just crazy. It was a really strong attack, much stronger than either of us even realized at the time, though we realized after the fact. So that was really cool. Then round 4 was Selesnya, arguably one of the harder matchups, just because Selesnya's creatures kind of pair well against the Boros creatures. Like, they have a lot better value for their mana cost, so like I'm kind of like behind in terms of value, but this match was crazy. It was from someone who was from Brazil, which was really cool. He didn't speak English too well, but I was able to communicate with him, and it was just nuts. This was like, he came out swinging. He had just a lot of really strong Selesnya cards. He was hitting me with just the 1/1 lifelink flyers and like pumping them. So he was really getting his life total as far away from zero as far as possible, basically from losing. But ultimately what ended up happening was he kept like a 1 land hand, and he did not draw a single land till like turn 4, 5, or 6, and that ultimately was the reason why I won, because I got my bigger creatures out and was able to just start swinging with haste and stuff, so that was big. And then lastly, our 5th and final round was against Demir, and this is where it all went downhill. We were 4-0, but what happened was I ended up getting mana flooded twice. I had a mulligan down to 6 both times, which was unfortunate, and I just wasn't able to go ahead and just seal out that win. I just had creatures that were, you know, not able to keep up with the amount of removal that he had, and the power that he had in his deck was too much for me to keep up with. So it's been unfortunate, but we still did get our winnings. So let's go ahead and open them up and see what we got.
Without